promises, full of plows and tillage, full of doubting Thomases. And every person has a history that is woven through this place, and every myth and every mystery may be cause for dispute or disgrace. We share our stories, and they become a part of us. All the wounds and glories as the very heart of us.
For a man without a tale to tell, like a smith without a forge, has a piece to plan a future well.
And nobody has a story like George. George is of that very honorable and undeniably awkward age at which a lad becomes a man. But to truly understand George's story, you have to understand something about his father, who lived in another village far to the north of us, where the mountains meet the seas.
It wasn't so very long ago. There was a village that in many respects was very much like us. They had a bailiff
And nobility,
with the ability to guide and to govern the common folk like us. They had houses made of wattle and daub, and every peasant was born into a job like us.
there were people you could trust.
There were people
that you couldn't trust.
like them.
But that is where the similarities end. While in this village we live peacefully and without threats, that village was terrorized constantly by dragons who lived in hidden caves under the mountains. The people had no recourse until one day, George's father purposed to rid the land of these monsters, and life began to change.
He would go every month or so deep into the labyrinth of tunnels beneath those hills, then come back with a gaudy sack with something inside that never ceased to give the villagers chills. It was the dead, bloody severed head of yet another dragon that had fallen by his hand. He alone evermore was known as the greatest dragon slayer in the land. And George's father was a warrior who was still in his prime when George's father was taken before his task was done. And George's father was a legend who was serving the best of all the talent. And George's father was a hero who eradicated the dragons from all of the caverns except one.
At last, the greatest dragon slayer faced the greatest dragon, Leviathan. A creature said to be larger, stronger, and more cunning than any other. This time, George's father did not come back, and Leviathan destroyed that village. George, an infant at the time, was rescued and brought to be raised here by his uncle, and no one has seen Leviathan since. Some say he's dead, some say he's hibernating, and others say he was nothing more than a myth. But regardless of what the truth may be, time has sold our memories and given us a sense of security that we've come to cherish, for better or for worse. In a sleepy village,
Full of faith and humbling, just to say you're from here is a weeping, tumbling in a lonely corner of the land. We are ignorant and safe. There is nothing feared and nothing planned by the noble or the brave. And if a dragon ever comes around, if it ever treads upon this ground, if the dragon ventures his force out, he will feel the heat from the dragon's mouth. And if the dragon ever catches up with us, nay.
George, do you have the longswords bundled up?
Nay, but I'm packing the daggers now.
Leave the daggers and finish the longswords. I'd like to be in Truston by sundown.
Look, it's not too late to let me take this journey for you. I can arrive well before sundown.
Always so sure of yourself.
Uncle Hiram, you make this journey to sell your wares every spring. I know every word of every story you have ever told. I know every bend in the path.
George!
I know the name of every village along the way.
George, you don't know all the perils that lie on the road.
I can face any peril that you can. When that band of marauders came to town, I drove them off almost single-handedly.
Aye, you kept your head when many men could not.
And that was half a year ago. I've only grown stronger since.
I know, George, but in many ways, you're still a lad.
A lad? A lad? Are you really that oblivious to what you see? I've been everything you taught me that a man should be. In every trial proving that I'll rise to the task. What more can you ask?
I admit you have tenacity, I wouldn't change, but your youth and impulsivity can make you dangerous to yourself.
So back on the shelf I'll sit till I'm dead.
Dramatically
In the
said.
sleepy village.
And
in a
another thing I
lonely
haven't mentioned
corner.
yet. Look at your stance, like a mother pelican trying to lay an egg.
That's an unfair tactic.
George, you know it doesn't matter what your stance looks like as long as it's efficient and effective.
I know.
Try again.
Are you sure you want to exert yourself with your long journey ahead?
Are you sure you want to hold your weapon as if you're afraid of it?
I'm not afraid of it. You're afraid of it. That's why you keep backing away.
Hold on. My bad leg is out of bounds, off limits.
I thought I was supposed to take advantage of my opponent's weakness.
Try to look for something a little less obvious.
How about the fact that you're like 92 years old?
52 years old. Not at all the same thing.
Might as well be.
All right. I really do need to be done now.
Oh, Hiram, can I not take this journey for you? I do not mean to be rebellious. I'm only asking again.
Let me tell you something long overdue. I think you're ready, but give your uncle just a little more time. And then I will let you go next year.
You will let me go next year.
Next year. Well, I've already kissed your aunt goodbye, so I'll be on my way. Take care of her for me, and keep your eyes fixed on the Lord Christ.
By His grace, I will. You be safe.
By His grace, I will. Goodbye, George.
Goodbye, Uncle.
In a sleepy village,
In a world of nothingness,
we will live and die here.
and there's no discussing this.
If the dragon's out there anywhere, then he's somewhere far away. And he doesn't know and wouldn't care how we live from day to day. And if a dragon ever comes around, if it ever treads upon this ground, if a dragon ventures this far south, if we feel the heat from the dragon's mouth, and if a dragon ever catches up with us, in a sleepy village, in a lonely corner, in a sleepy village, if a dragon ever catches up with us, and if a dragon ever finds us, he'll find us asleep.
I've never seen you in Huffboro before.
Nay, it's my first time. I've come to see if anyone knows the whereabouts of the Dragon Slayer's son.
George.
Can I help you with something?
I was just speaking to a young lass who called me George and then ran away.
A young lass.
That would be my sister Sylvie. She's always acting first and thinking later.
Sylvia is my youngest daughter. I am Charlize, the lady of the village. Alethea, my eldest. And Alaric, our bailiff.
Charming.
What brings you to Huffboro?
I'm here to...
This is Susanna. She knows George.
Sylvie, we all know George.
Aye, but she's his aunt. I'll keep looking for him.
Sylvia! Walk like a lady.
So you've come to see George?
He lives in this village.
Aye, he is my nephew. My husband Hiram and I raised him.
Your husband. And where is he?
He's away.
You're bigger, but I'm faster. Always have been and always will be.
One of these days, I'm going to outrun you.
Sylvia, you know you're much too old to be racing George about the village.
Although it is good for his ego to be beaten at something.
You are the son of the Dragon Slayer.
His name was Nigel.
Nigel's son. I come with a message. Your father's flesh was burned in dancing spark and flame of my design. Your soul is mine, I rise again. The time for us to meet is now.
That's the message.
Dragons are not renowned for their poetic skill.
Dragons?
What is this about?
It's a message for you,
A message from whom?
Leviathan.
He's alive?
Where is he?
One thing at a
Hold
time.
on a second, why should we believe you?
Who are you anyway?
My name is Mara. I was with a band of traveling entertainers, accosted by Leviathan on a desolate road. He incinerated every last one of us, except for me,
Why?
that I might bear his message to you.
I need proof.
Have a little respect.
Aye, she's just lost her friends.
Have a little reality. You say you saw the long-lost dragon face to face.
He was no further from me than you are.
What did he look like?
Please, save your questions for the road. Be off and pack quickly. I'll take you to Leviathan.
Now?
Do you not recall the message?
The time for us to meet is now.
Aye, what do you say to that? Come with me now. I'll lead the way. Destiny calls your name. The journey awaits, mustn't delay. The dragon has spoken, and you would be wise to obey.
I should make ready.
George, this is so exciting.
George, you're not thinking of leaving while your uncle's gone. He expects you to tend to his work.
Oh, fie, I forgot. Although, Uncle Hiram didn't know this opportunity would come.
Surely he would understand.
You may have a point.
Mother, what do you think?
Well, I agree with...
I hate to interrupt, but may I ask a question? Why does this creature want to meet with George anyway?
The Lord of all Dragons did not exactly confide in me.
Well, then, if he didn't give a reason, then you have no obligation.
It's his duty to go, as the Dragon Slayer's son.
I defer to the lady of the village.
Well, I agree with...
Look, I'm not too sure about dragons, but I do believe in duty. If you think this is your duty, then Godspeed.
I agree
It
with...
doesn't matter what you think. George, decide. Come with me
I should go.
now.
You should go.
I'll
Give him
away.
space.
I would stay if I were you.
So would I.
Well, I agree
But
with...
what about your uncle?
I don't know.
A man should do his duty.
It's a matter for prayer.
That's true.
Today we don't know what to do. Yesterday was much easier with lives unaffected by Leviathan.
Now let's be reasonable, Mara.
If that's really her name.
Surely you could at least lodge in the village for one night to allow the lad some time to decide.
Hi, give the lad. Give me some time to decide.
The woman could stay in your guest chambers, my lady.
You are welcome to lodge with us.
Very well.
Come.
But we shall leave at first light, shall we not, lad?
Man,
George.
You're going to kill Leviathan.
Maybe.
Maybe.
George, you're gonna kill Leviathan.
By the grace of the Lord Christ. Maybe. Father's flesh was burned in dancing spark and flame of my desire.
When I couldn't find you in the village, I thought you might be out here by the lake.
Aye.
Do you want to talk?
Nay.
Let's talk anyway.
All right.
You were only a babe when Leviathan disappeared. For as long as you can remember, you've lived in a world that didn't fear attacks from dragons.
Aye. It doesn't quite seem real.
When I was a lass, adults were a wee bit jumpier, always whispering to each other when they didn't think the children were paying attention. But we always knew danger was never more than a crow's flight away. When there were rumors of dragons in the surrounding countryside, my father would throw buckets of water on the outside of the house before bed. I don't think that would have helped much.
Probably not.
But there was still life before the dragons died. I managed to have a happy childhood. What I'm trying to say is, well, the threat is real. And if you're the one to face it, I will support you.
Uncle High said I was ready.
But life will go on if you stay here. No shame in that. Don't stay up too late, George. I imagine you'll have an early morning.
Thanks, Auntie. Your soul is mine. Your soul is mine. Your soul is mine. I rise again. The time for us to meet is now. Why now?
George?
Ah! Oh. Alethea.
Sorry. Do you want to talk?
Nay.
All right.
Wait, Alethea. That's not what my aunt said.
Well, I am not your aunt.
Thank goodness. She's a wonderful aunt, but, well, you know.
I know, George. Where did the bench come from?
I found it in the abandoned house.
So, do you know what you'll be doing tomorrow?
I don't. Uncle Hiram said I was ready to be out on the road, but that I should stay. My aunt said that she'd support me if I go, but there's no shame in not going.
Do you think the old woman is telling the truth?
Mara?
Aye.
Why wouldn't she tell the truth?
I don't know. Some of the others don't seem to trust her.
I don't really think it matters in the first place.
But what if...
Look, the way I see it, this is a legitimate reason for me to get out of this village for a while and see what I'm made of. It has to happen at some point. Uncle Hiram just didn't know this chance would be coming so soon.
I always hear you talk about your aunt and your uncle. I hardly ever hear you talk about your father except to say that his name was Nigel.
He doesn't really have anything to do with this.
You don't believe that?
Look, I didn't know him. What else is there to say?
You must feel something. What about all the dragons he killed?
Well, I didn't know them either.
George!
Look, you want to talk about history? You want to talk about feelings? When I'm about to leave this place for the first time in my life? I want to test my strength. I want to know what I can take as I'm traveling. Unraveling, will I come undone? I want to taste and feel, to know what lies beyond this lake. And if I don't go, I won't know, and I'll always wonder. Just as thunder follows lightning, I must follow this road.
George, listen to yourself. I want this, I want that. I would love to stop and chat about dreams and schemes and plans with you. I want to move, I want more, but at some point you've got to talk about what's true. And here's what's true. This is not about adventure. This is not about emotion. Let someone who loves you fiercely firmly ground your starry notion. This is about going forward and counting the cost. This is about a battle too big to be lost. I see a dragon in your future. Some kind of dragon in your future. If there's a dragon in your future,
my future, then I need to go now.
And I need to let you go.
Leave behind even you.
Hear me now, I insist. I would plead to let you know
how you'll be missed.
I believe in you. Goodbye, George.
Through the heart, through the bone, piercing, slashing through my rhetoric. No one else, she alone knows what's going on inside. She was right, I was wrong. It's not wanderlust or boredom that's giving me my drive. I just want that dragon to be alive. Monsters make heroes, the doubters may doubt him, but without him I'll never be great. Straggle and stagnate, monsters make heroes, I cannot deny it. To my eye it is plain to behold, written of old. Beowulf and Grendel, Ulysses and Cyclops. Every time I hear one, I hear both, sure as an oath. Monsters make heroes, the likes of my father. Would they bother to mention his name? Give him a claim now. I am the Dragon Slayer's son, everyone calls me that. Whether or not there is a hero down inside me, who can know? No way to prove it, no way to show them, no way for me to see if somewhere deep inside of me my father's latent legacy is waiting. Unless I best a deadly foe. Monsters made Nigel, I may not remember, but he lives in the air that I breathe, sword that I sheathe. Dragons made Nigel, his death wasn't hollow. Can I follow and give him his day? I know of one way. Monsters make heroes, the bigger the better. You're a debtor to every beast, downed and deceased. Monsters make heroes, there's no way around it. I have found it in every case. You're known for who you face. George and Leviathan. Nay, George and the Dragon. Aye, the time for us to meet is now. what a lovely day to begin a journey. Don't you think it's a lovely day? Which way are we turning when we reach the lake? Say, I should kill a boar before nightfall so we have some meat to eat tomorrow. Can't you walk a little bit faster? Tell you what, I'll meet you by the pasture just ahead. These are the first steps on the first day of the first journey I've ever begun. And if I were the type to chronicle it all, I think I would call this day one.
Day one, day one, day one, day one, day one, day one.
It's the day where I only see his back, mostly from a distance and usually off track. At my insistence, he keeps himself on course. George! Veer left! You're left. But I'm getting hoarse.
Skipping ahead to day two.
Life goes on, we forget about the dragon.
Speak for yourself, he's always on our minds.
Is it too much to ask that George would find him quickly, come out on top, and come home to those he left behind?
Sigrid, my sweet.
Bartholomew, my love?
I was just thinking. A question, just curious. If you had to guess who wins this furious contest, what would you say? Does Georgie get the dragon's head, or does the dragon emerge unscathed and well-fed?
Good question. 'Twould be a spurious claim, indeed I claim to know. For though George is quite the man, his foe is known to be injurious.
Exactly. It's a toss-up. The sort of match on which every man in town would love to place a wager.
Oh, baby, I love to see your mind work.
So do I. I see an opportunity to assist our community.
If we pitch it propitiously,
I'll bet they'll bet deliciously. And though our lives are not penurious, they could be much more luxurious if we take this opportunity to be entrepreneurious.
Skipping ahead to day four.
She continues her maddening slow trudge.
While he starts to realize that he needs to pace himself for a long journey, we begin to walk abreast and actually have real conversations now.
We've been trekking east for a few days now and haven't seen any sign of him. Shouldn't we be scanning the ground for tracks or trying to catch an odor in the breeze?
And have you not been doing these things?
Oh, I've just been walking. What does Leviathan smell like anyway?
What do you think?
Well, they say his father was a dragon and his mother was a sea serpent.
I?
So I imagine he smells fishy.
There is a hint of that. But he also smells like smoke, like acrid, smoldering flame, like 1,000 villages burnt to the ground, like death.
Are you sure we're going the right way?
Do you not trust my guidance?
Do you always answer questions with more questions?
If I do not give a direct answer, it is for one of two reasons. First, I may not believe that the hearer is ready for the truth.
And what's the second reason?
The second reason is that I just don't know.
Skipping ahead to day 6, George's uncle comes home.
Your soul is mine, I rise again. The
time for us to meet is now.
Who was she? You've never seen her before?
She called herself Mara, some kind of traveling entertainer. She was about our age, a little more worn down. Certainly looks as if she spends most of her time on the road.
Is it possible? Has Leviathan made himself known again after all this time? And what made George think he could just leave? The lad has no idea what he's up against.
He's a grown man now, Hiram. He would have consulted you, but he didn't have that option.
Job's bones. I feel as if I'm dealing with my brother again. How difficult it is to raise another man's child, prone to the other man's sin. This arrogant indiscretion, this ill-advised and headlong rushing in. What was he thinking?
He had to make a choice, and we have to trust your lifelong steady voice, but still guiding him.
I know.
We've done the very best that we could. A handful of regrets, perhaps, but mostly good.
You're right. He's a good lad. Has no idea what he's gotten himself into.
You're selling yourself short, dear. You've trained him well, just as you did Nigel.
Like I did with Nigel. I'll still never understand.
Susanna, have you seen George? Mr. Hiram, you're here. Have you seen George?
Sylvie, slow down. You can't just barge in unannounced.
You can if you're me.
Mr. Hiram, how are your travels?
Quite uneventful, thank the Lord Christ.
But you haven't seen George?
Nay?
I suppose she's got to drag that heavy gunny sack all the way home. That will slow him down.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Lord knows how long it'll take to find the devil, let alone slay him.
Do you think that the Lord will give George the victory?
I don't presume to know his plans.
But if anyone has a chance, it's George.
If anyone had a chance, it would have been Nigel. Why couldn't Nigel defeat him?
I don't know. When I found Nigel's body, it didn't give me many clues. But it looked like the fight had been brief.
What happened that night?
Oh my. Well, after every other dragon had been slain, Nigel determined to hunt down the elusive Leviathan. It was different, though. He came to me for some extra training, and I could tell he was less cocky, much more nervous about this one. Leviathan had a reputation, and I think Nigel knew this would be his greatest challenge.
You and Nigel lived in the same village back then?
I lived by myself on the outskirts of that village, across the river. That's the only reason I survived. Nigel and his wife Giselle lived in the village. He had been gone on his hunt for Leviathan for perhaps a week. I woke in the dead of night to the sound of screams across the river, the smell of something burning. And when I opened my door, a baby on the doorstep. He was alive. I picked him up and I held him as I watched the flames engulf the houses and barns and people. I don't know if my mind was playing tricks on me, but I fancy I caught a glimpse of the great dragon himself tearing through the streets. There was no hope of saving anyone.
Who?
Who brought George to my doorstep? That is the question. I always wondered if perhaps his mother Giselle managed to drag him out there, but then why would she go back across the river to die? Or perhaps some other kind-hearted soul brought George to my door and then went back across the river to save others. Dozens of faces come to mind. I knew everyone. When I went walking through the wreckage the next day, all the bodies were charred beyond recognition. Leviathan was very thorough.
Then you came here.
Aye, this is where I had grown up. It was only natural to bring the lad to Huffborough. I met Susanna, we got married, and we did our best to tame the creature you know as George.
Creature.
I just hope he's safe right now. I told Mother we wouldn't be gone long.
Let us know right away when George gets back. We will.
Goodbye, you two.
Bye.
I raised my only nephew and I have to let him go. Can't tell if I should weep or lie down and sleep. But there are others I know, others that I care for, who'd profit from the wisdom of my years.
The wisdom of our years.
Right. If we could just save them some tears.
We'd look back on our lives as we should.
A handful of regrets, of course, but mostly good.
Hold on. This jolly bootlace is giving me fits again.
Really, George? Why do I find it difficult to see you as the son of a mighty dragon slayer?
His name was Nigel.
So you've said? But that's all you've said about Nigel.
Well, I didn't know much of anything beyond what everyone else knows.
And what about the dragons he supposedly slew?
Well, I didn't know them. Why do you say supposedly?
This is a fine place to build a fire, is it not?
I don't see a great deal of wood.
That's why I brought a young man with strong legs who can gather some for us.
Thought I was here to slay the
Just
dragon.
get the wood. I'll find water to boil. I think I hear a creek nearby.
Greetings.
Oh, you startled me.
You're probably wondering why I'm here.
No, I'm just trying to catch my breath. Give me a moment. Now I'm wondering why you're here.
Terrence, Madge! This young man wants to know why we're here.
Actually, I think you're here to rob me.
He's not so dumb.
Nay, but his answer is incomplete. Before we rob you, we'll knock you out, drag you off, and tie you up, just so you can't follow us.
Forgive me for my lack of thoroughness. Unfortunately for you, I am prepared for such a contingency.
Really?
I'd like to think that if I can defend my entire village from a band of marauders, that I can defeat the likes of 3 would-be miscreants.
Would-be miscreants? We're full-fledged miscreants, thank you very much.
Hi. We have accumulated years of experience in the field of miscreancy. A combined total of 26 years?
25, because,
Well, I don't usually count the year that I struggled with bowel obstruction. I wasn't much use to the Enterprise at the time.
Sounds reasonable.
What's your story, lad?
Firstly, I'm not a lad. I'm the grown son of Nigel the Dragon Slayer.
Well, small wonder you've some skill with the blade.
And the branch!
I taste victory. Seemed contradictory. 3 swordsmen losing to 1.
George! Is this your pan? Oh, George.
Come.
Ha!
You really don't want to do that.
Nay, I really don't. I'll come.
Bring the bags.
All right, but you'll have to grab the pot. And try not to spill the water. It was a bit of a hike to find a creek.
Sacred, my love, what have you got for me?
John Miller put 3 pence on George, but Philip Brewer put 2 pence on the dragon.
Delightful! I just received sizable wages from Douglas and Hugh, and a meager sum from Henry Shire, the poltroon.
Keep it up, Plumcake.
You too, Turnip.
Mother, what was that all about?
Oh, such unpleasantness. If people want to discuss this quietly in their own homes, that's one thing.
Mother,
But
they were in their own home.
oh, please, Alethea, I have a headache.
Charlize, dear sister, what a burden you bear as the lady of this village. What troubles you?
Oh, it's just all this talk about dragons. Everyone with their differing opinions, we accomplish nothing.
Well, tut, darling. But whose opinions are we talking about?
We were just speaking with the Fletchers.
Mrs. Fletcher has known George since she was tiny, and she broke down when her husband said we might never see George again. Apparently he knew some folks whom Leviathan had killed.
Alethea, please, that is enough detail.
Mother, if there's a dragon out there, we need to be talking about it.
That's just it, sweetheart. Not everyone believes the dragon even exists, or ever did.
But what do you believe?
I don't want to discuss it. Please, Alethea, I need your help. And yours and Bartholomew's. I need you to help me set a more peaceful tone in the village by talking about other things. Things that don't cause such division.
Well, Bartholomew and I, we could not agree with you more. We are with you.
Mother, what if he's real?
Alethea, go find Sylvia. I haven't seen her for a while.
Found her.
Letty! Oh, there you are. Where is everyone? Mother, I was out by the lake.
Sylvia.
I saw something.
Oh, Sylvia, calm down, dear. Just
What is it?
I saw something. Okay, where's Hiram and the bailiff? Everybody needs to hear this.
no, Sylvia, you're making a scene.
What's wrong?
That's all right. I need everyone's attention. Listen to me. Outside of town, there's a creature like you've never seen. It's kind of black, kind of silver, sort of grayish green. It moves around like the workings of a great machine.
Is it a boar?
Nay.
A boar that's green?
Boars are mean. Don't you think I'd know if it was just a stupid pig?
Aye, but was it big?
Enormous.
Like an ox?
Bigger than a box of bread.
It's horrific.
It's horrific.
It's not terribly specific.
Stop, look, and listen. I have more to tell. It has a tail that would plumb the depth of any well. It has a face like a demon from the pits of hell.
You say it's large?
It was immense.
And are there wings?
I like giant tents, although I didn't see it fly.
What did it do?
I saw it slide into the lake like a water snake.
What about scales?
Like a million.
So it's probably reptilian.
To be honest, I think I know exactly what it is, although I pray it isn't so I hesitate to say it.
You hesitate to say it. She hesitates to say it.
Then I'll say it.
I'm putting 2 and 2 together and I'm getting 4. The mighty dragon killer's killer is a myth no more. That old Leviathan is here and busting down our door.
Can it be true? What does he want?
He wanted George.
I don't care what motivates him, to be blunt.
But there's something strange.
What?
A dragon typically attacks before you even know it's there, but to let himself be seen...
Ah, he's right.
What does it mean?
Analyzing his behavior even with your expertise, while our brawny little savior is off chasing wild geese, is a waste of precious energy that cannot be dispersed. We should go on the offensive so he doesn't strike us first.
You're probably right.
It's simple. If it's a fight he wants, we'll win. If it's a game, we won't give in. If it's a war, we'll rise victorious in the end. Beside the lake, we'll meet his eye, until he falls or we all die. We'll lift his dreadful, ugly head up to the sky.
We'll take his teeth and make necklaces for our wives.
His shiny scales will adorn our houses all our lives.
You've got to keep the goal before you so that hope survives when there's a dragon in your future. We'll need some weapons.
I can give you all the swords you need, but there are ways to fight a dragon that you've got to heed. Superiority in numbers isn't guaranteed to win the day. Now listen, your best chance is a narrow band of flesh across the top of the neck, which is only visible if he turns his head to the side. It's nearly impossible to get close enough.
I could use some men to distract him while others approach from the opposite way.
Aye, but he'll see right through your tricks unless he's in a blind rage. You may have to make him angry on purpose. You'll likely lose men.
I intend to bring every man back alive or die fighting beside the last of them.
I'm sorry George isn't here to help.
It's not your fault. All right, I'll take Richard, Douglas, Rowan, and Bran. The rest of you stay here to defend the village, and pray it doesn't come to that.
If it's a fight he wants, we'll win. If it's a game, we won't give in. If it's a war, we'll rise victorious in the end. Beside the lake, we'll meet his eye, until he falls or we all die. We'll lift his dreadful, ugly head up to the sky. We need a dragon slayer's son, but since he left, then we have none. We'll have to course and muster force to get this done. We can't afford to waste more time. Repay the creature for his crime. Sometimes you need to change your rhythm and your rhyme. When there's a dragon in your future, when there's a dragon in your future, when there's a dragon in your future.
Outside of town, there's a creature like you've never seen.
It's kind of black, kind of silver, sort of grayish green. You've got to keep the goal before you so that hope survives when there's a dragon in your future. He has a face like a demon from the pits of hell. We'll take his teeth and make necklaces for our wives. Shiny scales will adorn our houses all our lives.
There's a dragon in our future. 'Cause there's a dragon in our future. 'Cause there's a dragon in our future.
George? 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 George?
Where?
Oh, you're in a cave, George. Your eyes will adjust.
Oh, my eyes. Oh, my neck. Oh, wait. What is this?
George, stop! That hurts! We're bound together. You might as well make peace with it.
Oh, fie. This is your fault.
That's not how I remember it.
But you...
Don't do that! You're about to make me vomit. That's the last thing we need.
How is this not your fault? You distracted me when I was just
you
about
were supposed to be distracted.
You didn't think yelling at me was going to...
I knew it was your pan, you fool.
So then why
There's
did
two
you...
of us traveling together and it wasn't my pan.
That's not the
Who
point.
else's pan would
Why
it
are
be?
we still talking about the blasted pan?
The point is, I yelled at you so that they would be distracted, and you could take them down.
That might have worked. Fine. You know, it's easier to argue with someone when you can't see them.
You haven't seen me once since we left your village.
Why couldn't I be tied to Alethea right now?
It wouldn't be that different. Her back would be sweaty too.
If I were back home, I swear.
Don't swear.
What?
You really haven't seen much of the world, have you, George? Words have power. Blessings, curses, even an oath taken without thought. You can't possibly know the ramifications.
Fine. If I were back home, I know I would have beaten those blighters, even with the distraction. Split-second decisions are what I've trained for. It's what I do.
Split-second decisions are always based on what you really believe.
So then why did I botch this one?
Because you believe that I'm a distraction instead of a valuable partner.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Apology accepted.
Well, how are we gonna get out of this?
What do you think?
Do you always answer questions with more questions?
Are you going to keep asking that? Or come up with a plan?
All right. Do you think we can get over to that bit of rock jutting out from the wall?
Aye. Let's go.
All right. Now, let's scrape the rope down. Like that. I think there's a bit of progress. 5,000 more times ought to do it.
Oi. Are you going to count?
Oh, nay. Although now that you mention it, I might not be able to help myself. Come on. 2, 3.
What do you like about her?
Who?
Alethea.
Oh.
What?
Well, I really haven't tried putting it into words before.
That's all right.
Besides, you picked a funny time to ask it.
It seems as good a time as any.
Well, I'm much handier with swords than with words.
Excuse.
And what if she defies description?
You might as well just stumble through it.
To try to pin her down seems futile and absurd. The best that I can do is wonder aloud.
Well, it's not as if you are in front of a crowd.
All right. She's humble yet can be persuasive, logical yet somehow warmer. The latter hides behind the former and rarely shows. She's quiet, but she's not evasive. She's blunt, but not destructive. She knows when she should correct me or let it go. An air of royalty with no room for pride. A sense of loyalty that won't be denied. When there's someone who will listen to you even when you're wrong, who will challenge you with something true, as gentle as a song. When there's someone who'll wait for you, no matter where you've gone,
then there's somewhere that you can call home.
Aye, that about sums it up. Being with Alethea is like being home.
I believe it or not, I do understand. I once had a home, a family.
I didn't know.
Well, I've tried not to think about it for quite a few years, until recently. Much of my life is behind me. My much of it lived on the road. Things I regret, long to forget. Who can help carry this load? When there's someone who can laugh at you without a hint of scorn, who can comfort you and cater to a spirit bruised and torn. When there's someone who welcomes you no matter what you've done, then there's somewhere that you can call home. When there's someone who waits for you no matter where you've gone, then there's somewhere that you can call home.
Well, I guess it's easier to get to know someone when you can't see them.
True. Well, this rope's not going to tear itself asunder.
You're right. We'll have to work together. 6, 7, 8. Did I miscount?
The sun was high when they set out. Now it begins to dusk.
Perhaps we should send a few men out to see what happened.
Nay, here they come! Or at least one of them.
It's the bailiff.
Ulrich!
It's me. Only me.
Where's Douglas?
I'm sorry. No one survived. Just me.
But did you slay him?
Nay, it was a fool's errand. We hadn't a hope of defeating the devil.
Then how did you survive?
He wouldn't kill me! He made me bid you all a message.
Go ahead.
You gave me not the man I seek, and now your men have paid the price. You shall remain within my keep henceforth till Nigel's son returns. A pair of sheep will be required daily as a sacrifice.
Medicine, quickly!
I'm quick.
Here, help him.
The creature wants 2 of our sheep every day?
That's what he says.
This isn't what dragons do.
It makes no sense. But Leviathan's not your run-of-the-mill dragon. He has a reason.
What if we refuse?
I wouldn't dream of it. It's a cinch. He'll start slaughtering us instead. You'll wonder who his next victim will be, and then you're it.
There are precious few sheep in Huffborough.
Aye. Henry Shire has the most. I'd say about a dozen.
There'll be 6 in the toft behind Douglas's place, Lord rest his soul.
The Fletchers have 2.
Aye, and the Millers have one. And Clifford has one.
And there are 4 at the manor?
Aye.
That's 26 sheep.
13 days.
What happens then? Perhaps George will return before we run out of sheep.
It doesn't matter. No one can kill that dragon.
George can kill Leviathan. I mean, he can. People, listen to me.
This is a day to mourn our losses. Let no one speak about this creature, except for for those of us who must arrange for the sheep. Go to your dwellings. It is late.
Charlize, dear, you carry such a load. Let us lighten it for you.
Of what do you speak?
Sigrid and I can manage the arrangements for the sheep, couldn't we, dearest?
Darling, that does sound like quite a bit of work.
Nonsense, nonsense. What do you say?
If you could do that, I would be most grateful. Girls, come. I have a headache.
Lovey, why should we want to handle all those mangy sheep?
Tut, tut, Biscuit. We didn't actually touch the sheep. We merely manage the arrangements. If we can craft the system, we can also rig the system.
Oh!
That's right. I see an opportunity to exploit our community.
These dear people, so blind they'll be.
But our purses, so lined they'll be.
Day 11. It took all night to tear the ropes asunder.
Bandits took our stuff, my weapons,
And my pan.
but it's a new day. We can move beyond this blunder.
We have our health.
And our strength.
And we have a plan. When I was with traveling entertainers, may they rest in peace. We kept a covert stash of supplies not far away. I think I can find it.
Will wonders never cease?
Folks, the sheep from our own Lady Charlize's holdings have been taken to the creature known as Leviathan. Now we must rely on the sheep belonging to you, our people. We hereby establish a lottery system.
For every sheep left in the village, we place a small pebble into this bag. Each pebble has a mark that corresponds to the sheep's owner.
Each day, we take out 2 pebbles. Those are the sheep that go.
That sounds fair. Are there any questions?
Are you absolutely certain this is the fastest way to get to wherever we're going?
I thought you were beginning to enjoy this trip again.
I was when I thought we had a destination.
And what makes you think that we don't?
That rock right there. I saw it yesterday. Maybe the day before.
All right, George. You're right. I can't find the stash of supplies, but I have another plan.
What is it?
If we make a beeline for Tummins, we should run into the band of entertainers I travel with. They can help us.
I thought you said Leviathan killed them all.
Did I actually say he killed them all?
Oh, Sylvie, where is he?
Not knowing, I cannot say. Assuming you're talking about George.
Of course. I just wish he were here right now. He has such a keen mind under pressure.
Huffborough is definitely under pressure. Ask me how many sheep we have left,
All right. How many sheep do we have left?
I don't know. Every time I try to count them, I fall asleep. Right, so a frozen pressure, 12 sheep left, and no one knows what will happen when the sheep are gone. No one can step foot out of the village without dying.
If only Leviathan would let one or maybe two men past just to go find George.
She won't allow that.
You must remain within my keep. Blah, 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 blah.
Could you take this a little more seriously?
I do take it seriously. I care about George. I care about the people of this village and the babies that lost their daddies last week. If I don't just laugh, I'll cry.
Oh, Sylvie, me too.
Suppose one or two of the men could get out of the village.
Nay, Sylvie, the bailiff is badly injured. We've already lost some of our strongest men. We can't afford to lose any more. I have to go check on Mother. I think she has a headache.
Can't risk any more men.
Sigurd? Oh, Agnes.
I want in.
Darling, whatever do you mean?
You've already drawn 4 of my sheep, and you've only drawn 2 of Henry Shire's, and he has more than the rest of us put together. Don't think I haven't noticed.
Chance is a funny thing, isn't it, Ducky?
Fie on chance! With my Douglas gone, I need those sheep. We depend on the used milk, and for every sheep lost, it's a fleece that I can't sell come springtime. I want in on whatever deal you've made under the table with Henry Shire.
Shh. You have to understand. He did pay quite handsomely.
I'll pay whatever's required to make sure that my last 2 sheep are drawn on the last 2 days. After that, we'll just pray that the Dragon Slayer's son comes home before then.
Well, let me discuss it with Bartholomew first. But I'm sure we can work something out.
Do you suppose the village of Tommen's moved?
That's enough. I'm finished. I'm going home. Back to Hofborough. Back to Alethea.
George, don't be ridiculous. What about the dragon?
What dragon? Do you see a dragon? You have no clue how to find a dragon. Oh, and I've lost my sword. What am I supposed to do? Slap him in the face?
You need to calm down, George. We'll get you a new sword. You have a job to do.
What makes you think this is my job? Why are you helping me anyway?
Because I hate Leviathan. I hate what he did to the people I loved.
Well, go kill him yourself. I don't know why you think I can do this in the first place. Just because my father killed all those dragons.
You still think it was your father who killed all those dragons?
Stop! Stop it! You just say things. You just say whatever comes into your head, and I'm sick of it. I'm going home.
All right, George. What do you want me to say? I'm your mother, George.
You are not.
I am.
That is the cruelest thing you've ever said, and I don't believe it for a second.
You were nice to me in the cave. In the cave, I could make believe you loved me, like a son should love his mother. I could feel you breathing, like I felt my baby breathing when he used to sleep on my chest.
You're too good at this.
Give me one more day, George. I think I can find my friends if you give me another day.
I still don't believe you. One more day.
This way.
Fire! fire out by the lake. Bring buckets. Quickly! Lord, have mercy on the lass.
I'm alive.
I saw the smoke. Oh, Sylvie. Sylvie.
I'm sorry, Letty. I was gonna go find George.
It's all right. You did a brave thing.
Stupid, maybe. Leviathan only kept me alive so I could bear a new message. If you call this alive.
What is it?
I warned you once, and this is twice. You must remain within my keep. What happens next when sheep are gone and Nigel's son is yet waylaid? A single maiden will be offered daily as a sacrifice.
Single maiden? Every day?
Now he wants our daughters?
Go get medicine and someone who knows how to use it. And find my mother. Now! Come here.
What's with the bench?
Oh, I don't know. George put it here.
He's so weird. I've given my message. I can die now.
Nay, Sylvie, you're all right. Just hold on.
You know there's no one in this village that can heal these wounds.
You're all right. Just hold on. We'll find someone to help you.
You can help me. Just give me your hand. That's all I need.
Oh, these hands. So much mischief.
Some people don't learn their lesson until it's too late.
Sylvie, when we talked about sending someone to find George.
I know. I know you didn't mean for this to happen, Letty, but what could I do? Maybe I should have told you first. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I'm not too good at planning for the worst.
Maybe I would have tried to stop you. Maybe I shouldn't have. Is it too high a price to pay? Who can say?
I just knew I couldn't stay here, doing the things I've always done, tending the garden in the sun all day. When I'd seen the enemy raging, and there's a hero to be sought, a village to be brought back. Now
you've always loved this sleepy village,
all that I've ever known.
If there is any spark of zeal, it's thanks to you.
Leaving behind this quirky village, going ahead alone. Now that I'm here, I must admit, part of me, just a bit, wishes to stay here. I want to see what happens next. To be here in this extraordinary time, ready to hail George as he comes home and wins, and gets back to his forge, and claims his princess. But I'm going home now. I belong to the Lord Christ, and he's my reward. He's my reward.
Look at you, my baby sister, going first to meet the master.
I always was faster.
Who's going to make me laugh when you're gone?
George makes you laugh.
Not like you do.
Letty.
Yes.
Could you sing me that song? The one we sang when Dad died?
Of course.
I'm just gonna rest now.
Death, where is your victory? Where is your sting? You cannot hold one of his Sylvie. Oh, Sylvie.
Beside the lake, we can't pretend that this will have a happy end. As into chaos and confusion we descend. What kind of action can we take? Our daughters' lives are now at stake. We face catastrophe with every move we make.
I'm on a journey where my every step is shifting sand.
But if he only knew what I know, then he'd understand.
Her desperate claim that I'm her son is both unlikely and completely unsubstantiated.
Do we continue with a strategy so utterly illicit, making money off a tragedy?
You'll never even miss it. I don't know if we should curse this dragon to his face or kiss it for the profit he's created.
I'm on a journey where my every step is shifting sand.
But if he only knew what I know, then he'd understand.
Her desperate claim that I'm her son is both unlikely and completely unsubstantiated.
Do we continue with a strategy so utterly illicit, making money off a tragedy?
They'll never even miss it. I don't know if we should curse this dragon to his face or kiss it for the profit he's created.
When there's a dragon in your future, when there's a dragon in your future. Today we don't know what to do. Yesterday was much easier with lies unaffected by Leviathan.
As we wander town to village, here and hither, there and yon, as we entertain the noble
And the noblings that they spawn.
with their gentle sensibility, so courtly and so couth. Why are they all so ill at ease? We ask ourselves, forsooth.
But we swallow all our questions and we put up our facade. We pretend to be subservient while they pretend they're God. And the things that make us who we are things they'll never know. They only want to see a good show.
We are visible yet invisible, ever seen but never known. Brighter colors, fewer cares than any monarch on his throne. You can join us if you like, but we don't feast on caviar. If you're one of us, you're just as much a nobody as we are. We are, we are, we are, oh, we are.
If the physical makes them quizzical, then we've done our job all right. They can't see inside my head, they don't know what I did last night. And they never shoulder up with me to socially advance. But they let us in their big fat house, 'cause we can sing and dance.
Sing and dance, sing and dance, purple pants, sing and dance. fight to earn a little silver like a slow and steady grind. But we share and share alike, we don't divide what's yours and mine. Cause nothing is divisible by zero. Divide by zero. Divide by zero. Divide by zero. When you're at zero.
Mara's back!
We are visible yet invisible to the crypt and from the crib. I remember all the words, though I'm as old as Adam's rib. Though my flab is yet more flabby, and my singing's gotten worse, I've managed to come home with one new mediocre verse.
Mara's back. Mara's back. Mara's back. Mara's back. We are visible yet invisible. Never seen but never known. Brighter colors, fewer characters, and any more are gonna start. You can join us if you like, but we don't feast on caviar. If you're one of us, you're just as much and nobody else we are. And the things that make us who we are things they'll never know. They only want to see our good show.
Hey, hello there, person I don't know. What did you think of our song and dance?
Impressive.
Thank you. Of course, we don't actually do that one for the nobility. That one's just for us here in the camp.
Mara, dear Mara, what joy it brings me to see your safe return. Thank heaven. And you've brought with you a visitor, Ethedred, Archibald, Amos, various and sundry others.
A pleasure to meet you all, particularly since I was told you were all dead.
Is that what Mara told you?
Sorry, Mara, you should have sent word ahead. We could have played along. Oh, I'm sorry, we're all dead.
I reckon it's too late to fool you now, but we all believe in something we like to call eventual honesty here. You see, everybody lies to each other, of course, when they first meet, but after enough late nights around the campfire, the truth eventually comes out.
That explains a lot.
Well, regardless of what you were told, young man, what we have is yours. Stay with us for a day or a lifetime. If you can't entertain, then you can cook. And if you can't cook, then you can still eat.
Thank you, but really, we just need some...
As we like to say, we do what we like.
Hey, we don't do what we don't like.
And since we like to say that, we say it.
As much as we would like to stay, we really just need some weapons.
Of course. Well, what we have is yours. Archibald, try to rustle up some swords for these two. The real ones, not the props. But, Mara, you're not staying?
We haven't discussed it.
We haven't discussed it?
I say, Mara, isn't he a trifle young for you?
No, really, please.
Don't be embarrassed. Not here amongst friends.
I'm just surprised she could fetch one so strong and spry.
Please, no, that's not at all what
George,
you think.
relax. They're jesting with you. You'll get used to it.
George, is it now? Now that's interesting. So this is what your mysterious errand was about, Mara?
They're not the best swords in the land, but they're the best we've got. Here, sword for you. Sword for you. Did I miss something?
He is my son.
Maybe.
Your son?
By the Dragon Slayer?
Are you a dragon slayer too, my lad?
An awfully cute Dragon Slayer.
Please, don't slay me, Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer on my side. I wanna run, I wanna hide from you.
They seem to have a song for everything, don't they, George?
Can we go?
A song was a song, a message for you, young man, passing from person to person around the countryside. They say it came from the great dragon himself.
He's already heard it, Etherdred.
Oh, I remember it.
How did it go?
Ew. Augmented chords.
Just play.
Nay, we don't need to hear it.
That's all right. We love a good tune.
All right?
Father's wish was burning, dancing, sparking, flame of mighty star.
Heard this plenty of times, thank you.
The soul is mine, I rise again. The time for us to meet.
I really don't need to hear this again, please. Thank you.
And you will vow you shall not move, and I will sing and I shall
What was that?
They've added another line. Isn't that nice, George?
You didn't give me the whole message.
George, but consider my motives.
You shall not move, and I will seek, and I shall find. He was coming to seek me at Huffborough. I was supposed to stay there.
George, the message is open to interpretation.
And you've been leading me away for weeks.
George, I wanted to keep you safe. I care about you.
If you don't care about my people, you don't care about me. I'm leaving.
Nay, you're staying.
Is this what we're doing?
I thought I lost you when you were a baby, when my village burned to the ground. And then all these years later, we hear a message, a glimmer of hope. You might be alive, and I found you. I'm not losing you again.
My people need me.
You don't need them. There's a place for you here. A new life. Come with us.
Stay with us, Dragon Slayer. We're nice.
You're not stopping me.
Really now?
Suddenly you've some skill with a blade. Another of your secrets.
You can't be the wife of a so-called dragon slayer without learning a few tricks.
You didn't think I could defeat Leviathan in the first place.
George! There are things you still don't know.
Ooh.
Leave us alone.
Swords don't scare me. But fine. We'll leave you alone. I care not.
Just please don't kill Mara. She's our best cook.
I've missed her rump roast, something fierce.
The truth. If there's any shred of you left that knows how to tell it.
You don't think I really wanted to lie, do you?
No more questions. I'm ready for answers. When I was a baby, Leviathan came and destroyed our village. My uncle survived because he lived across the river. How did you survive?
I wasn't there. I left you with your nursemaid that night. I did a lot of leaving you with your nursemaid. I'm sorry.
Where were you?
Sometimes when your father was off on a big quest, I would visit other villages. I was visiting someone that night.
Visiting someone? Is Nigel really my father?
Oh, definitely, no question.
Are you lying to me?
Nay, if I lied again, you would leave.
I'm leaving either way.
Then why shouldn't I tell the truth?
I'm not sure I'm convinced.
I swear it, George.
Tell me about my father.
Have you ever wondered why every story Nigel spun, not a solitary one, had any eyewitnesses? Every dragon's death he claimed, somewhere far away, unnamed, nothing ventured, no one shamed, until he faced
Leviathan, get to the point.
Nigel's legacy he longed to complete. In all his insolent pride was in reality replete with manipulation and deceit. Can't you see it? Never slew a dragon in his life.
Then who killed all those dragons?
Leviathan. When I met your father, he was charming and strong. I was young and alluring, my hair was raven and long. I was seeking status, so I latched onto his. Only cared what something looks like and not what it is. I stepped into the life of the dragon slayer's wife, soaking up the attention till I noticed some strife. Just a hint of tension, a bit of circumvention when I happened to question his mysterious quests. Always came home with his prize, never varied, no surprise, something hidden in his eyes, finally tired of his lies. I said I'd leave if he didn't tell the truth.
Sounds familiar.
So he told me the truth. Several years before I met him, your father found Leviathan, young and frail, wounded and dying beside a lake. He was about to run him through with his sword when the cunning little creature said, "Wait, I could be of inestimable value to you. If we bind ourselves together, there's much that I can give. Let me live, and I'll pledge myself forever. Do your bidding, whatever you say. I'll swear an oath today." Now the choice before him might seem simple to you, but the heart that beat within was self-absorbed and askew, and he saw a path to greatness that was painless and swift. Never dreamed the course, if taken, would set him adrift. So he took his sword and spilled some blood on the ground, precious liquid from himself and from the captive he'd found. Mixed together now forever to this creature was bound. His own counsel did he keep, and nursed the dragon to health with stolen sheep.
This is nothing like the story that I've known since I was young.
But it's the truth!
He would go every month or so, deep
and he
into
would
the
meet up
caverns,
with Leviathan and bid him to slay one more.
then come back with the gunny sack,
so that he could bask in all the glory with the story of the trophy he bore.
It was the dead, bloody, severed head
of yet another dragon that Leviathan had slaughtered by his hand. And my father evermore was known as the greatest dragon slayer of the land. And when Leviathan wasn't killing his own kind, at your father's behest, he built a name of his own, flying throughout the land, murdering people and burning down their villages and homes. And as time marched onward, Nigel had some remorse, for the thing he had created was a terrible force. But he kept moving forward for the sake of the oath that had bound the two together, enslaving them both. And when the dragons were gone, circumstances collided, for the oath would only break when one participant died, and when each had gained an indestructible name. Leviathan destroyed him in smoke and in flame. Can you see it now? Don't you see it now?
I can see it now. Monsters make heroes.
And sometimes heroes make monsters.
Does my uncle know?
Of course not. I think he always suspected something was amiss, but he never put his finger on it.
And when you discovered the truth, why didn't you tell everyone?
I had my reputation to maintain. I wasn't so very different from your father, you know. Besides, there wasn't really any way out. We were in bondage to the oath he had taken. Words have power.
Why do you call yourself Mara?
It's the name I took after I lost you both. I sought a new life. These people took me in, they're kind. They taught me how to love.
They taught you how to live a lie.
Nay, I was already good at that.
Why didn't you just tell me who you were when you came to seek me at Hofborough?
I didn't think you'd come with me. I was sure your uncle had told you all kinds of awful things about how I'd abandoned you.
He never maligned you. We always knew that someone left me on his doorstep, but we never knew who.
It wasn't me.
And there's more yet to learn. Goodbye.
Wait! Surely your uncle told you my name.
Giselle. I'm leaving, Giselle.
You can call me Mother.
I cannot! I thank God with every fiber of my being that I wasn't raised by you.
Sigrid.
Oh, Agnes, how delightful. Are you well?
I want in.
But you're already in. Remember, your sheep won't be drawn for another 2 days now, darling.
I'm not talking about my sheep. I'm talking about my Ida.
Ida? Your daughter? Now, Agnes, sheep are one thing, but you don't actually believe that Bartholomew and I would be so crass as to take money under the table for peoples with oh, you do, don't you?
Word gets around.
Oh, it does it?
Don't worry, your conniving little head lady. Charlize doesn't know. She hasn't left the manor house for days, ever since young Sylvie passed.
We've noticed.
Now, I've already lost my Douglas to that dragon, and I will do whatever is required to make sure that my Ida doesn't get drawn for a long, long time.
I understand, dear. After all, Bartholomew and I are only here to help.
If I bring you some food, will you eat it? I can't read your mind, Mother. You know, I'm also in mourning. It would be kind of nice if we could mourn together. Or I could see if one of your friends would come sit with you.
What friends? I am the lady of the village.
Oh, you have friends, Mother. You're one of the people, more so than the nobility in larger villages. It's a sleepy village, as Sylvia always... Shh! Am I not allowed to speak of my own sister? Or just not say her name? I'll check on you again at supper.
The Dragon Slayer's son. Everyone used to call me that. Can it be true there's nothing more than failure coursing through my veins? Do I believe it? Can I accept it? Is there a part of me that knows my father's legacy was no more than a fallacy created to mask a man behind his name? Why should I believe her now? She's been lying all along. Most of what she says is wrong, or at the least, very misleading. Yet it bears the ring of truth, somehow jives with what I feel. If I sleep or if I kneel, it will be there, haunting me. Why should I believe her? Why do I believe her? Is it because my uncle always had misgivings about his brother? Was it the way Giselle broke down when I refused to call her mother? That could be part of it, but the heart of it is a reason that compels me like no other. This man that she said was not so very different from her. This man, I admit, was not so very different from me. Monsters make monsters! This apple's too close to the tree. I see in myself this tendency to heed my darkest, innermost voices. I go on a journey, a pointless, meandering journey. Accomplishing nothing, I swagger and strut, abandoning people I love. For what? George and the dragon? How foolish it is looking back. My family must have a knack for making stupid, selfish, arrogant choices. I thought I could face him, but how could I possibly face him? Bereft of all but the strength of my frame, my soul is left in confusion and shame. If I met this creature, I might do the same as my father. And when Nigel fell like an angel to hell, was he sealing the destiny of his child as well? Or can I refuse to blindly follow and choose to slay my sin regardless of what I might lose? And when I look to the sky, Lord Christ, what can I say? Have I even acknowledged that there's a part you might play? Or have I forgotten I'm a creature of clay who was formed to bear your image and fall on your grace? Can there be victory? Seems contradictory. Weakness so rarely prevails. I'll just go home and be nobody great. There with my friends, share their fate. I pray I'm not too late.
Methinks we may be in too deep. I was approached by 7 more people just on the way home.
Oh, these poor, poor folks. What would they do without us?
It is a wonderful feeling to be able to help. But dearest darling,
You think it'll all fall apart if we take it too far? Well, Mumsy, I was just arranging the pebbles to get it straight in my own little noggin.
Ah.
If you take the pebbles that correspond to the people that you helped today,
All right.
and place it next to my row here, quite simple.
Here?
Yes, the ones that pay the most are on the left, and we gradually work our way down to the little piddler who paid a halfpence over here.
Oh, so the Fletchers.
There we are.
But the Ludlows.
If 2 families pay the same amount, then the ones that pay first get the better position.
Oh, I think I've got it. All right, that's all I have.
Good. This should work beautifully.
But Lovey, it feels like there's only 1 pebble left in the bag.
What? 1 pebble? Who might that?
Of course.
This isn't going to work. Maybe the system doesn't need to work. We've milked the village of every last coin. Maybe we just take the loot and run. We have enough to be able to travel somewhere else and live comfortably. My uncle, over in Tinksburg. Maybe we can make ourselves indispensable to him as we've done with your sister here.
Aye, we just might. Who wants to live in a dragon-infested place like this anyways?
Oh, the dragon. He won't let us leave.
Oh, fine, you're right. Wait, what about this?
No, if we couldn't. Oh. Oh, Peachy Pie. I just love to see your mind work.
So do I. I see an opportunity to escape our community.
Living slyly and snappily, ever after so happily.
And though our
Plans may break like pottery, we're still glad we rigged the lottery. 'Cause no matter what we did, this town would be far less daughtery.
No sheep left.
Alethea!
George?
Alethea!
George! George, you're all right. Oh, you're all right. You came back.
It brings me such joy to see your face.
George! Lord Christ be praised!
Uncle Hiram! Oh, it's so good to see you both. I was afraid this place would be burned to the ground. I'm glad you're all alive and well.
Not all, George. He's here.
Leviathan.
In the lake. I don't know why he allowed you to pass.
He must have a reason.
Lives have been lost, George. Richard, Douglas, Philip, and
Sylvie.
Sylvie? Dear Sylvie! I should have been here. I should have protected her! never should have gone with that witch!
George, this doesn't mean you did the wrong thing.
How can this possibly be made right?
George, Sylvie went looking for you. I know that may not be a helpful thing to say, but she really believed in you, George. She would not want you blaming yourself.
And George, she's with her king now. For whatever reason, it was her time. And he took her in his wisdom.
She played her part, and it wasn't in vain. Even for myself, seeing what she gave, it's given me new courage.
I could use some of that. Uncle Hiram, my father, he never killed any dragons.
What?
It was Leviathan.
Say it again.
Leviathan killed the dragons. He and my father were partners or something. I don't know.
It makes so much sense. Oh, how blind I was. It makes... Oh, that blighter. Lord rest his soul, that little blighter.
No.
I'm sorry, George. I loved your father. I really did, but...
All right, I understand. And my mother, too.
What about her?
The woman I was traveling with, Mara, she is Giselle.
She left you on my doorstep.
Nay, I still don't know about that.
But how did she survive the
Hiram.
attack?
Oh, George, thank goodness you're back. Now listen, the Welches have run off. I searched their chamber at the manor house. Everything's gone, all their stuff. Even the food at the larder.
It can't be. They wouldn't risk leaving the village.
What is this about?
Leviathan requires a young lass to be sacrificed to him every single day, starting today.
What?
And Mother left the arrangements in the hands of Bartholomew and Sigrid Welch.
What? Why would she do that? You can't trust those two as far as I can throw a boar.
But it doesn't matter now, George. Now that you're here, you can face Leviathan, and no one needs to be sacrificed.
I will support you however we can.
Nay, I cannot.
George.
Well, we can decide it at the town meeting.
Town meeting?
The one the Welches set up to decide which lass we'll be sending to the dragon first.
This is unreal. It's barbaric.
Aye, this little village was unprepared to face something like this, that's for certain.
The dragon was always out there somewhere. Now he's among us.
So what about the Welches?
I still don't believe they left. They're not that foolish or careless with their own lives.
All I found in their room was a neat line of pebbles and this bag.
They were playing a dangerous game they knew they would lose.
I'm going to search the manor house. I'd wager they're hiding somewhere.
Trying to wait so they can slip away when this whole thing blows over. I'll come with you. Sylvie was always showing me little nooks and secret passageways.
I'll come too. I have so much more to tell you both.
Good. Let's go.
I suppose I'll stay here.
Lady Charlize. Forgive me, my lady, I cannot stand. It's so good to see you up and about. Do we, know the whereabouts of Bartholomew and Sigrid? My lady?
We've got them.
George!
Hi, I'm back. Sorry it took me so long.
Where did you find these two?
The weasels were hidden away in a secret passage. Wanted us to think they'd skipped town until they actually got a chance to do so. Now sit down here and hold your tongues. Believe me, you will be dealt with later.
They also had this with them.
Sweet Moses, I'd wager that's every coin in the village. Who here knows something about this? Bartholomew, have you anything to say? Is this what happens when the bailiff's laid up? Shysters run rampant and nobody sees nothing?
I don't know about the gold coin, but I did find this in the shyster's room. That and a neat line of pebbles, as pretty as can be.
Pebbles, coins, an ice-cold silence. I think I see what's going on here. Whoever's left in this bag is the unfortunate lass whose family couldn't afford to pay.
Or whose family was left in the dark.
Who did the Welches plan to send to the lake today?
Nay!
Alethea!
No wonder, small miracle. With just one glance, this tiny spherical object can tell the tale. Snakes in the grass tried to slither away.
Lock them both up till they wither away.
Wait a second, what is this? All of a sudden, you have something to say. Now that it's your daughter, out of your stony silence, you come out to play.
I've already lost a daughter!
Listen to me, please, a word in season. Tensions are high, and for good reason.
I'm not afraid to admit what I've done. Isn't it time we all admit what we've done? Every dirty secret is on the table, every penny spared as we were able, giving up our savings hand over fist to keep our Molly's name at the bottom of the list.
Thank you for your words, it's my impression. Many folks here have a similar confession. Now it's in the open, maybe we can put it all behind us.
I don't think you understand. Providence would have us use wealth in a way that's wise. He has purposes and plans that are only his, as part of a family that's labored for all our lives.
I say we keep the list as it is.
My little Ida is your Molly's closest friend. How could you do this to her? The poor lose first because we have so little to spend.
It isn't what I'd prefer.
Ladies, have you forgotten there's no need to contend? What is all the fuss? The Dragon Slayer's son is here to defend us. Right?
I wish it were so, but much has changed. Things in my head rearranged. Long story short, I cannot beat him. Not a person here can hope to defeat him. But that doesn't mean we lose all hope. I'm willing to go to Leviathan, hold him off, distract him for as long as I possibly can. Give you all time to escape.
You can't admit defeat before we even try. We need to go out there and put up a real fight. We'll take every man and woman who can hold a sword.
Now that's the sense I take right there. I may not be able to fight, but I can craft a bloody good strategy.
You cannot mount an offensive that quickly. We need to buy ourselves more time. Use the lottery that's already been established.
Why are you so keen to send other people's lasses to their graves?
I don't like it one bit, but when times are desperate, you have to use means that would normally be unconscionable.
Nay, that's not a path we take, ever.
Awfully easy for you to say. I say those who've worked hard deserve to use our means for our own good. What do you think about that?
None of us deserves a blessed thing. Not even our next breath. Not for us, not for our children. It has nothing to do with deserving.
Listen. We've all had our say, but my word stands. You'll be refunded in full without being held in contempt. The lottery begins afresh, no money changing hands. But the daughter of nobility is exempt.
Mother, you're wrong. Mother, you're wrong. Mother, you're wrong when you suggest everyone's had her say. I
I represent the silent daughters of this town. All of the lasses with whose lives and debts you dare to play. Has anyone asked them what they seek? Mother, sit down, let me speak. All of them waiting, holding their breaths outside this room, fearing decisions made by people trusted since the womb, shuffling and slating girls like pennies in a purse. Well, I, for one, am done. So I'll go first.
Nay, I absolutely forbid it!
Not this time, Mother. No one of you can either take me to the lake and tie me up and say goodbye. I'll go there myself and stand on the shore and call Leviathan's name until he comes.
Alethea, don't do this. You can't do this. This isn't happening.
Then come save me, George.
But you know I told you
Stop saying you can't. I'm getting a little tired of it.
I'm sorry.
I have to go. There's a dragon in my future. Then I need to go now.
What are you doing?
getting ready to go face the Leviathan.
You don't think you can defeat him?
No, I don't. I mean, I've trained for this moment my entire life, but my confidence was built on a foundation that's crumbled to dust. I can't possibly go. I am too much like my father. But I should go. I don't know. Why aren't you saying anything? You're always giving me advice. Why this silence?
You seem like you're working your way towards the right decision on your own.
I can't possibly let Alethea die without even trying.
You're like Nigel in many ways, George. I always tried to steer you away from his baser tendencies, but now, I think you can be the man he should have been, but wouldn't.
Maybe. I don't know, it's just... Why did it have to happen like this? If I had stayed in the first place, maybe I could have faced Leviathan and prevented all this loss.
But you would have faced him with unrealistic expectations, with a heart full of arrogance.
So you're saying it was right that I left? That can't possibly be right.
George, the doubts that plague you, they're the same doubts that plague every man and woman on this green earth. Should I have done this or that? Maybe, maybe not. But the wisdom that I carry with me today was forged in the fire of yesterday's foolish decisions.
Swordsmith analogies?
Exactly. Now, I don't pretend to know what your future holds. I can tell you what I think you ought to do, but it's up to you to decide. I don't know how your story ends. I can't promise it'll end the way we all want it to, but I know your story is unique.
I thought you said my story was like every other man and woman's on this green earth.
Well, I reckon it's a bit of both.
Awfully complicated for someone who's just a lad.
Still stuck on that, are we? All right, George. Once and for all. You're a man. Now go be a man.
By His grace, I will. Thank you, Uncle, for everything.
I'll see you when you get back, son.
What if I was wrong to trust him so completely wrong to think he'd come? What if I was wrong to call his bluff? What if my words were not enough to break him out of his confused paralysis? Give him pause, a cause for reanalysis. What if I was hasty or just unfair? Saw something in him that simply wasn't there. And if he doesn't come, and if he doesn't come, I believe my actions were no mistake. The next move is his to make. I can rest knowing that I did what was right. I won the battle that was mine to fight. Even if he doesn't come, even if he doesn't come.
I've come.
I knew you would.
Where's my bench? Oh, you're using it.
Breathe, George.
Well, he'll come now that you're here.
No, he'll come now that you're here.
Father's flesh was burning, dancing, sparkling flame of my design. Your soul is mine, I rise again. Your soul is mine, I rise again. The time for us to meet is now. And you will bow, you shall not rule, and I will seek, and I shall You ignored my orders.
I was deceived. Just a portion of your message was received.
Turned and fled these borders.
Your words are overplayed. I bear enough regret without your aid.
Very well, then.
Where do we go from here?
Relax, George. I only want to talk to you.
I have some things to say.
Go ahead.
You have to answer for the maiden and the men you slew.
I only ever did exactly what I said I'd do.
Give me a reason for the pain you put my people through.
It was for you.
What is that supposed to mean?
I had to be sure you knew the stakes were high. And I will not play games.
Nor will I.
Good. Now it's my turn to ask questions. Do I detect a fond affection for this would-be bride? Or is it chivalry alone that brings you to her side? She loved to help you fight your dragon, but her hands are tied.
Leave her alone!
So I've hit a nerve.
You will not harm her.
You're right. I will not.
You won't?
If you help me.
Help you?
It's decision time, George. Beside the lake, it all gets real. You come to die or strike a deal. You're in the court of last resort with no appeal. This is a fight you cannot win, a battle you did not begin. You'll find a compromise is wiser in the end. When there's a dragon in your presence,
What do you want from me?
Nothing complicated. I want something back. Something the so-called Dragon Slayer stole from me.
This has something to do with my father.
It has everything to do with him. He was so cocky. He lorded his authority over me for years. And I played my part well. The downtrodden slave, the subservient pet. He actually began to believe he was as powerful as everyone said. And after I had slaughtered the last of my brethren, your father came in all his hubris to meet with me one last time.
And you murdered him!
I did. I always understood that I would have the last laugh. I had built him a reputation as the greatest dragon slayer alive, and if I killed him, well, you can only imagine the implications. I'd be the undisputed greatest of all time, the celebrated most feared dragon in history, the universal glory of the mighty Leviathan, be unparalleled. But as he was dying in the remnants of his own dead skin, trying to find a way to redeem his sin. That's when it happened. That's when he cursed me. Did the worst thing he could possibly do to me. Words burst forth from his lips with his last drink of breath. On the brink of death, he said, may you never again sail above the trees, catch a current of wind or a lofty breeze. Your terrible splendors come to an end, my serpentine friend. Let every sinew that's within you be unfit to fly. My parting benediction as I lay me down to die. The blood that I shed will serve to ensure long after I'm dead, the curse will endure.
You cannot fly.
I cannot. Thanks to your father.
That's why you disappeared for all those years.
I, the Lord of all dragons, does not spread his majesty by slithering from town to town.
So you hid?
In the caverns. Waiting. Just waiting.
Waiting for me to grow up.
Exactly. And now that you've come of age, you're finally useful to me. You are the only soul that's capable of setting me free.
Then it was you who gently carried me to safety that night, left me on my uncle's doorstep.
That's right. I needed you alive.
That's the reason I'm alive.
I needed you to live.
The only reason you would give me a chance to survive.
Cause only a man could do what I need you to do, what I'm asking you to do. As the last man alive with Nigel's blood in your veins, you could speak the word to break the curse and sever these chains. I could rise above the dust, and from this moment I won't have to crawl upon my belly.
What if I don't?
Then I'll kill you and your precious princess, and I'll burn your village to a crisp along with everyone you love.
And if I comply with your request?
I leave you in peace. You'll never see me again. I'll make my glory known in other lands far away.
You mean you'll terrorize and destroy other villages?
But not yours. The choice is before you, George.
Alethea.
I'm here.
You trust me, right?
I'll match your bravery step for step.
I am not my father. And I am not my mother. And I'm going to fight you now.
Very well. The offer stands until you draw your last breath.
me, aren't you?
I'm giving you time to reconsider.
I've made my choice!
George, you seem so tired. Can we not take a moment just to marvel at this? That words may have the power to restore broken things, mend these wings, and I'll leave this very hour on my honor, forsaking this shore. You'll see my face no more. Last chance, George. If I exhale, you're finished. Then your princess will know what it is to suffer.
Alethea, help me. I know I should refuse, but...
Don't you dare say you can't, George.
Right. Kill me.
You're not giving in. Well, there are other ways we can do this. I know how to keep a man on the precipice of death without pushing him over. I'll take you to the caves, both of you. I'll keep you alive there for weeks, months, whatever it takes. I'll kill one villager every day until you do what I want.
Just kill us now. You'll never get what you want.
Is that so?
George?
I don't know.
George! I said, George! What in the world are you doing?
Giselle.
Your hideousness.
The years have been unkind to you.
You'll get no argument from me on that.
You're not welcome here. This has nothing to do with you.
I think I'll stay anyway.
Leave us alone, Giselle. We were about to make a bargain.
George, it's her. Can you hear me?
Leave her out of this!
What is she doing here?
Leave her out of this, George.
I was half a day behind you, hoping and praying I would find you.
Leave us alone, Giselle.
And I don't blame you if you hate me, but I just had to come remind you.
Leave us alone, Giselle.
What you have is remarkable. It's remarkable, but if you hearken to him, he'll use his power to break you down and blind you.
Don't listen to her.
I regret that I ever gave into this creature you see.
Leave us alone, Giselle.
Hold fast to your strength or become like your father and me.
Leave us alone, Giselle. Leave us alone, Giselle.
I'm sorry I said what I did.
Well, it's all worked out in the end, hasn't it?
More questions.
Don't worry. That's probably the last one.
Alethea, this is my mother, Giselle.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Alethea, I feel as if I know you already. I wish I could watch the two of you build a life together. I'm so proud of you, son. Your father would be proud.
I love you, Mother.
I've always loved you, George. I didn't always know how to do it right. My brave son.
For a man without a tale to tell.
And a woman without a tale to tell.
Like a Sith without a force.
Carmen, you're the only one who can help George defeat the dragon. Really? Yes, we believe in you. So do I. So do I.